Matthew Carr here, Chief Trend Strategist for the Oxford Club. Welcome to another episode of Market Trends. Well, today my guest, Trillian, she's not that concerned about the stock market collapse. She's not bothered by the COVID-19 pandemic. For the most part, her life is pretty much unaltered or uninterrupted. She still gets fed. Her litter box is still cleaned. She still gets all the attention that she really demands. The only difference is I might be taking more black and white photos of her and the rest of her furry sisters than I normally do. For the rest of us, the road back to normal isn't going to be as smooth. There's a lot of concern out there especially with the president saying that this is something that, Americans have to be prepared for a very painful 2 weeks. And we know that the top of the bell curve for the infections in the United States is going to peak somewhere in late April. So I'm very hesitant to expect a V-shaped recovery either for the markets or just normal everyday life. This transition is going to take place in phases. First we're going to see those restrictions from the CDC lifted, but people will still be out, still be wearing masks, still be wearing gloves. Then at some point, the gloves and the mask will go away, but we'll still be practicing social distancing. And then we'll eventually get, at some point, to a new normal, which I think a lot of the stuff that's taken place right now during the COVID-19 pandemic are going to be with us for a long time. And I believe that is going to give us a lot of opportunities as investors. I know right now, Wall Street is hot on Campbell Soup, on Clorox, on Hormel. These are all companies that I have without a doubt will see big short-term gains because all of us, we all went out and we loaded up on this stuff. We hoarded this stuff. We went out and bought more soup than we normally have. I know I do. I have plenty of Cape Cod chips, industrial bags of them, like around the house. But how much Spam, how much, Milano cookies, how much, potato chips are you really going to be consuming after this? The big feat for those companies, for those food manufacturers, those staples of the hoarding society is taking those short-term hoarding trends and turning it into a longer-term consumer trend for each of those companies that's going to build on that revenue. Like I know right now, I am eating far more Rice Krispies treats than I normally do.
I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
I don't expect that to continue after this crisis is over. At least I hope not. But there are some real companies that I think are going to benefit, that the impacts of COVID-19 are going to last a lot longer on the business side. So I want to think about like a company like DocuSign. This is the e-signature and virtual agreements contracts company. Business was already booming prior to the pandemic. I've used it multiple times through a number of different real estate agreements, all that kind of stuff over the years. Its business was doing well. With this pandemic now in place and all the travel restrictions in place, no face-to-face meetings, no international travel, but business still needs to be done. Its business is surging. DocuSign is seeing a big uptick in that. And we've actually seen shares hit a new 52-week and all-time high recently. I don't know if you can hear my cat screaming in the background. Slack is another company that I think is really poised to benefit. The COVID-19 stay-at-home economy, this is going to provide them a boost. They were already doing exceptionally well, but now that everybody's locked out and under lockdown, this is where they're seeing tremendous growth. CEO Stuart Butterfield recently just tweeted that they've added 9,000 new paying customers from February 1st through March 25th. That was 80% more than the two preceding full quarters. On top of that, they're seeing the average users number of messages sent per day increased 20%. I've said it before and I'll say it again that once you start using a platform like Slack or even Microsoft's Teams, this is something that becomes an everyday business tool, that it becomes just really quick. You don't have to make a phone call. You don't have to wait for an email. You can send off a Slack, get an instant response, give a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. And speaking of Microsoft, that's a company where as everybody's pushing towards the cloud, making sure that they have that cloud, decentralized infrastructure and space in place, they are doing exceptionally well. And then the other two that I like are Zoom and Logitech. Zoom, everyone's doing video conferencing. You're even doing video hangouts. I'm on Friday nights with my friends all across the country. Since the stay-at-home shelter-in-place regulations that began, we've been having cocktail hours, happy hours. We'll spend several hours just hanging out, everybody coast to coast, drinking, laughing, telling stories. And this is actually something that I think will probably continue for a lot of my West Coast friends that we don't get to see, every single week. Logitech, all those peripheral companies, because, web cameras are back in vogue. But going back to our furry friends, I think there's one company that this is like the perfect moment for them. This is the perfect opportunity for them to grab a big new customer base and then have that be a repeat return customer base. And that's Chewy. This is the online pet retailer. I've been using it for years. I have a big menagerie of pets. They all need litter and food. And I think once people start using it, they'll realize how easy it is, how convenient it is, and it'll be very similar to the transition to Amazon Prime. I don't know anybody that doesn't have Amazon Prime just because it is the most effective online shopping membership to have. Chewy is that for pets. That, once you start using it, then they've roped you in. Then all of a sudden, brick and mortars making that errand to a special errand to PetSmart or Petco or wherever to get these additional pet supplies is out of the question. So during this current crisis, like I said, the lives of our furry and scaly family members, well, they haven't really been interrupted. Maybe they get more time with you for belly rubs or some extra treats. But for the rest of us, we're kind of having to adjust to this new normal. And some of this new normal, especially on the technology side, the digital platform side, the online retail side, I believe that will be with us for a very long time, and some of that forever. That means these companies offer the promise of a long-term feast for investors, not merely provide you, this short-term snack of Cape Cod chips, Milano cookies, or Spam. Once again, I'm Matthew Carr, Chief Trend Strategist for the Oxford Club. Thanks for watching. And if you're interested for more information like this, be sure to check out ProfitTrends.com and sign up for our weekly e-letter. Once again, thanks for watching. See you next week here at Market Trends.